Midday, a Midtown historic landmark damage after a fire on Thursday night. We're live with what you need to know about the investigation at the Atlanta Eagle Bar. Plus, the city of Atlanta moving forward after the water crisis, how a team of experts plans to address the city's aging infrastructure. And a busy and controversial Midtown intersection is going to temporarily close as major safety changes are on the way. We're breaking down everything you need to know.
11Alive News Midday starts now.
Hello and welcome to 11Alive Midday at 11. I'm Ariana Manise. First at Midday, Atlanta fire crews are still investigating what led to a fire at the site that was once home to one of the most renowned LGBTQ bars. That's where we find 11Alive's Bobeth Yates. And Bobeth, set the scene. I know you've been talking to residents. What's been the reaction from people who live around this historic bar?
Since we've been out here this morning, we've actually seen a lot of people coming in the area, taking pictures. A lot of people are just shocked. And in fact, the smell of smoke continues to linger in the air at the intersection here of Ponce de Leon and Argonne Avenue as that historic site went up in flames.
It was really sad to see it up in flames.
For 35 years, Richard Ramey, the owner of the Atlanta Eagle Bar, called this historic site home. But late Thursday, the building, built back in 1898, went up in flames.
You know, it was the first historical site for our gay community, so that it really hurts deep to see all the damage that's happened.
And take a look at video witnesses gave us, showing smoke and flames shooting in the air out of the building, which is now abandoned.
You could feel the heat all the way from over there, and that was like, I don't know, 100, 200 feet away. And it was quite a blaze. It was quite a lot of heat. Also, this is the neighborhood. You know, I was concerned that my house was going to start on fire, possibly. You never know what embers are going to drift over.
Luckily, fire crews were able to keep the blaze from spreading to any neighboring properties, including the historic Kodak building that sits right next door. But now many worry what will become of the old Atlanta Eagle.
It's just got so much history, starting with RuPaul back when it was the celebrity room, and all of our history through the 35 years that we were here, and that's what makes this building so special.
In 2020, former Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms designated the location a historic landmark, citing its significance to the LGBTQ community. The Atlanta Eagles Bar is also the site of a controversial 2009 police raid that resulted in a lawsuit and 16 officers being found guilty of lying and destroying evidence. 6 officers were also fired. The incident led to training and policy changes, and while the investigation into the blaze continues, those who live close by the site continue to reminisce.
It's an emotional time when any type of scene like this, and people that has any connection to something, fires are really devastating.
Now, officials say this investigation is still ongoing, but they say there have been other fires in the area caused by vagrants. Now, they're not sure if this was one of those incidents, but they say luckily none of the historic buildings in the area or other sites were damaged with this fire. Live in Atlanta, Bobeth Yates, 11Alive News.
Thank you, Bobeth. The U.S. Geological Survey confirms a 2.5 magnitude earthquake last night just before midnight near Lake Lanier. It's centered northwest of Beaufort. We had viewers near Beaufort Dam and in South Forsyth County say they could feel their houses shake because of this. The USGS says that magnitude won't cause damage, but will be felt or heard. All right, your time now is 11:03. It is finally Friday. It is Chesley's pick of the week, which means it's outside weather, Chesley. That's
absolutely right. You can go outside today. I want to talk more about that earthquake a little quick here, give you some perspective. Here's Atlanta here. You're talking about northern Gwinnett County, almost at the border between Gwinnett and Hall County. You can see just at the border there, we had that magnitude 2.5 last night, as Ariana mentioned. A very minimal hurricane, not hurricane, but an earthquake where you can barely feel the shake. Just after that, at 1:30, we had a 2.1 magnitude earthquake as well. That's rated as a 4 in intensity by the scale. Again, very light, very light. So only a few of you may have felt that shake. Just to put that in perspective, we receive maybe a 4.0 here in Georgia every 10 years or so. So very rare. You're looking at temperatures in the 80s as we speak right now. We do have some 70s out there, 74 degrees in Blairsville, 77 over toward Carrollton, everywhere else in the 80s. We'll see those temperatures rise into the mid 80s for this afternoon. Some spots will get a little bit higher than that. We'll drop back down to 82 by 7 o'clock tonight under mostly sunny skies. A brilliant looking day. Will it last through the weekend? I'll let you know in the full forecast coming up.
Now that Atlanta's boil water advisory has ended, leaders are now focused on the city's aging infrastructure. Mayor Andre Dickens is appointing a blue ribbon panel of experts. It will include retired Major General Ronald Johnson, Chief of Staff and Senior Vice President at Georgia Tech. Johnson once commanded the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers as they rebuilt Iraq's infrastructure.
I know how the process works to get authorizations for these various projects, and then how we have to do a lot of strategic planning and effort with Congress. This is really a tough problem. I don't know that anything could have been done except to have had a plan from the start where the nation was really investing money in its infrastructure.
Johnson and the Blue Ribbon panel will formulate a plan, look at funding, and figure out how to implement it. Right now at Midday, a former deputy at the Spalding County Jail is now facing new charges after another inmate says he sexually assaulted him. 22-year-old Quentin Morgan is behind bars after being arrested on May 29th. An inmate says Morgan came into his cell and sexually assaulted him. And now another inmate's mother, Brenda Diekman, says her son told her Morgan allegedly assaulted him as well.
He was sitting at a table with 6 other guys, and he said all of a sudden that officer grabbed him from the back and slung him against a cabinet.
Diekman says that when she reached out on this investigation to get more into this incident, they said that to see what could be done, no action was taken. Weeks later, Morgan was fired and arrested for the alleged sexual assault of another inmate. We reached out to the Spalding County Sheriff's Office about the assault allegations. In a statement, deputies did not deny the new allegations. They say the investigation is still active and they cannot provide any additional details. 7 people are now facing RICO charges. Gwinnett police say the suspects are connected to nearly 500 car break-ins. 5 suspects have been arrested. Police are still looking into 2 suspects. Police say between November 2022 and March of this year, the 7 men are accused of breaking into 492 cars to steal guns, cash, and other items. The men are also accused of shooting at someone who caught them in the act. If you have any information in this case, you're asked to call police. Testimony continues today in the trial of former police officer Miles Bryant. He is charged with murder in the death of 16-year-old Susana Morales, who went missing in 2022. Gwinnett County officer Lieutenant Xavier Biggers broke down on the stand yesterday as he talked about becoming close to Morales' family as he helped look for her for days in the days after she first disappeared.
I was very driven by it, and I would say more obsessed with the situation that I would even do it on my own time, because every time I see my daughter in her face, I saw Jasmine.
Lieutenant Biggers was talking about following up on every lead Morales' sister Jasmine sent him. He says in the summer of 2022, he spent weeks searching for the teen, even after bringing in homicide detectives to assist with the case. Morales' best friend and her boyfriend also testified. A survivor of human trafficking is using her trauma to educate others to identify and rescue victims being bought and sold for sex across Metro Atlanta. The RISE Summit is being hosted in Peachtree City, but what's being discussed has far-reaching effects. The founder, Jessica Lamb, says she was trafficked at the age of 16 until she escaped. She says she hopes the summit is the first of many and that there's impact among local law enforcement listening in the crowd.
To bring people together so we could show everyone that we are actively working together to be a part of a solution.
There's a huge misconception that prostitution is human trafficking and human trafficking is prostitution. And what's happening is law enforcement as a whole is in many ways criminalizing victims of human trafficking by arresting them for their victimization.
The summit wraps up today. Lamb says she is also fighting for better legislation targeting human trafficking. Gwinnett County police officers need your help finding 2 suspects who they say spray painted racist language and hate speech in downtown Beaufort. This is surveillance pictures from officers they sent us of the suspects, which were taken just after midnight on Tuesday morning. They say the spray painting happened on the doors inside of a dumpster off East Main Street near South Harris Street. And officers say the 2 also spray painted a nearby street sign. If you have any information, call police. Right now, there's a federal investigation looking into an alleged scheme to hike rent prices across the country. This probe is bringing investigators right here to Atlanta. Court documents outline the scheme that relies on a software algorithm to create a, quote, new frontier that poses an even greater anti-competitive threat. 11Alive confirmed FBI agents went to Cortland's Atlanta office last month conducting what they call court-authorized activities. Cortland owns more than 80,000 homes and apartments. In a statement, Cortland said in part it was fully cooperating with the investigation, adding in part, quote, "We understand that neither Cortland nor any of our employees were targets of that investigation." This investigation comes as some residents say their rent is up $500 in less than 4 years, rather.
So everybody want more, ridiculous more. Man, the cost of living in Atlanta is crazy, and I'm from here, man.
According to Realtor.com, Atlanta rent has seen one of the greatest drops in prices since last year. But Turin, who you just heard from, says he still wants his rent to go back to what it was. 11Alive is staying on top of postal problems here in Georgia. It's an issue that we've been investigating since early March after issues with staffing. Transportation caused major mail delays linked to the new regional processing and distribution center in Palmetto. Liza Lucas has been working this story for you for months now, going through nearly 3,000 emails. One customer bringing us an update on efforts to locate his package missing in Palmetto.
This one package came in from Idaho at apparently the peak time just after the facility opened.
Crew Heimer is one of the countless wondering where did his package go. He was waiting on a shipment sent late February when it started looping around the country, right around the time the new Regional Processing and Distribution Center launched in Palmetto.
And it went back to Salt Lake City, and it came back to Atlanta, and it went back to Salt Lake City, and then it came back to Atlanta. Then it sort of seems to have disappeared.
So Heimer tested a solution offered by the postal system, requesting to intercept his package. When eligible shipments are not yet out for delivery or haven't been delivered, customers can request the destination post office hold the item or return it to sender. If a shipment is intercepted, Heimer agreed to pay a fee.
To work, the package has to be scanned.
Weeks later, we heard from Heimer again. The intercept process, he says, never worked, but
my package showed up 2 months after the last tracking on it.
Battered and reboxed, the package was resent from the Mail Recovery Center. Basically, the Postal Service's lost and found. A note claiming the package was undeliverable as addressed, though Heimer says the original info is in fact correct.
Apparently, it got damaged in the processing. My guess is that you had some fine-tuning process on the new machines and it got busted up. Of course, it didn't help that it made 2 trips to Salt Lake City and back too.
He's among those who tell 11Alive that some mail sent from as far back as February is starting to arrive as the Postal Service works to improve service from the Palmetto facility. Heimer admits he was surprised to see the package show up after so much time.
I didn't expect to see anything anytime. And so after 2 months, it showed up, which means there was a backlog and they're working on it.
In Chamblee, Liza Lucas, 11Alive News.
11Alive continues to track whether service is improving in Georgia. The latest data from USPS's dashboard shows the agency says nearly 64% of first-class mail is arriving on time. That's compared to a low of 36% in mid-March. More than 81% of mail is taking an additional day to arrive. Remember, you can also text the word mail to the number on your screen to get links to our top stories on postal problems. We have information to help you navigate through common issues. Just text the word mail to 44885-7600. Your time now is 11:13. If you've had a chance to step outside, you see the sun is shining. Chezzy has some clouds behind him. It is a perfect Friday.
It is a very nice Friday, yeah, despite a few clouds that are out there. I showed you this earlier when we were in this morning, Ariana, and you could barely see the background because we had some low-level cloudiness around. That is starting to lift. We're going to wind up with that high pressure around the area all day long. Look for sunshine, folks. That's about it. We're not even worried about any scattered thunderstorms popping up, not at least for today. Drier air is working into the area, and so we're not going to see those scattered thunderstorms around. Just the sun rays that will be around, and the temperatures will respond, of course, to that sun, but it will feel a little bit better, a little bit more refreshing out there thanks to the humidity levels going down. Temperatures are in the 70s still in some spots like Canton. You're at 78 degrees, 75 in Clayton, 74 the cool spot up into Blairsville, 77 over into Carrollton. You got 80s out there as well, 82 degrees right now in the city, 83 Peachtree City and down toward LaGrange, 81 degrees in Thomaston, 84 over into George's Rome, one of your warm spots already. So we're looking at temperatures getting up into the mid to upper 80s for this afternoon. I'm forecasting a high of about 86. We may beat that, maybe up to 87, maybe even up to 88. But again, it will feel a little bit better than it has been the last couple of days because of the lower humidity levels. You also will notice the winds start to pick up as well out of the northwest, getting up to about 13, 15 miles per hour at times. Gusts may be a little bit higher than that. So a nice sunny, warm, breezy afternoon for us, back down to 82 degrees by 7 o'clock tonight. Notice the southeast, nothing much going on here. The front making its way further down to the south, again taking the humidity with it. We got the drier air that's working in. Winds out of the northwest for the afternoon, again starting to pick up on us just a little bit, but again not worried about any rainfall at all. It's just going to be a nice, enjoyable day for us with brilliant sunshine around the forecast area. Next couple of days will be like that. Tomorrow will be the same. Saturday, another nice day. Sunday, we'll notice a few clouds working back into the area, some of that low-level moisture coming back, and then we'll start our rain chances as we begin the work week next week. By Monday, could see an isolated shower pop up. It's only a 20% chance. It's a very low threat, but it's there. Here it is, our forecast track model. I'm going to leave this nice and wide as well, because if you have plans to go head anywhere throughout the south, southeast, you're looking pretty good. You're looking at sunshine around for the rest of the afternoon. We'll stay that way as we head toward Saturday. Now, you'll notice this disturbance making its way down toward us, but will fall apart before it gets in here, so we're going to hold on to that sunshine. Even Sunday, another one making its way further down to the south, but it won't make it toward us. We will see the clouds could clip our northernmost counties. And so again, a 20% chance or less. For the most part, it won't be until Monday that we start to see some of those showers begin to move back in. You also notice the cloud cover that will be over the area as well. And so that's where we'll start that rain chance once we get into next week. But let's recap this weekend. It's going to be nice. 86 for a high today. Some spots will get a little higher than that. 87 for your high temperature on Saturday. Again, a warm afternoon, but enjoyable. At least it will be a little bit more comfortable than what we have been experiencing. Really turns hot for us on Sunday, with temperatures approaching that 90-degree mark. That's when you start to see a few more clouds move back into the forecast area. And then we'll start that 20% chance for rain starting on Monday, holding it on Tuesday as well. Temperatures fall off just a little bit, and then we'll start to rise it back up again as we head toward the middle of the work week, with a 30% chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly during the afternoon, with that daytime heating on Wednesday with 88, and then back up near 90 degrees for the high temperature by next Thursday. We're looking at a 30% chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly during the afternoon. Ariana, back to you.
All right, thank you, Chesley. We now know 8 people in Georgia have gotten sick because of a salmonella outbreak linked to cucumbers. That's according to the CDC. The CDC says so far 162 people have gotten sick, with 54 people needing to be hospitalized. This comes after the Food and Drug Administration issued a recall for cucumbers from Florida-based Fresh Start Produce. Good Earth Lighting is recalling more than 1 million lights after a death and multiple fires. The company's rechargeable integrated lights, they can overheat. According to Good Earth, 1 person died and another was treated for smoke inhalation after a house fire last year. The recall lights were sold at retailers including Lowe's, Ace Hardware, and Amazon from October 27 through January 2024. Consumers are being instructed to immediately stop using the product. A busy and controversial Midtown intersection will close temporarily for major safety changes. The intersection of 10th and Monroe has long been the focus of cries for change that heightened after the death of a teenager in 2016. 11Alive's Yuri Carnes has more on the changes that are coming.
It has become a magnet for just about every form of transportation, whether it involves 2 wheels, 4 wheels, or 2 feet. The intersection of 10th and Monroe is a spot for recreation and protest.
Every time I'm on a bike, I feel like I'm taking my life in my hands, and it shouldn't be like that.
Over the years, cyclists have gathered here expressing concern, their demands for change echoed by Thomas Heineman. In 2016, his 14-year-old daughter, Alexa, was on her way home from a drama performance at Midtown High School when she misjudged a light, resulting in a crash that took her life. In the years following Alexa's death, her father has advocated for changes that might have kept him from a world of grief.
This intersection, I see it more as a symbol of hope than a symbol of tragedy.
Change is coming. The city's Department of Transportation, along with the Atlanta Beltline, plans to close the intersection of 10th and Monroe for a full week to add a variety of features. Among them, a protected bike lane along 10th with direct access to the Beltline, a raised pedestrian crossing, and improved pedestrian signals. Once the intersection reopens, crews will close lanes on occasion to work on new sidewalks. The entire project will last until September. It is a major change at the intersection of walking, driving, biking, and grief.
That was Jerry Carnes reporting. The plan is to close the intersection Sunday night and reopen it next Friday. To learn more about the Midtown intersection construction and the detour routes, head over to our website, 11alive.com. Just text 10th and Monroe Construction into the search bar. A lot of county-wide improvements are on the way to Gwinnett. This comes as the county's Board of Commissioners approved new initiatives during a meeting this week. A redesign of Gwinnett Police Headquarters has been approved. Construction is scheduled to begin in 2026. The county's juvenile court is applying for a grant that will fund intervention programs for juvenile offenders. Jimmy Carter Boulevard at Buford Highway is getting some much-needed work with construction starting by the end of this year. And in incorporated Gwinnett County, the Department of Water Resources will rehabilitate 3 flood control dams in the Hines Creek watershed this summer. Right now, Cobb County's detention center is helping those incarcerated stay on track and out of jail after they are released. The jail partnered with Cobb Works and WorkSource Cobb to graduate detainees this week. This gives inmates the opportunity to leave incarceration with multiple certifications and job placements in fields like construction, HVAC, and welding. We spoke to an inmate who hopes to take full advantage of the new skills he has learned.
It's exciting because I never had the opportunity to get all these credentials, so I'm gonna make full forward to just go out and do right.
The 20-day program also teaches career coaching and interview prep skills. This is the 3rd graduating class of this program. All right, for a fun story, we're just hours away from the end of an era in television. Pat Sajak's final episode as host of Wheel of Fortune airs tonight right here on 11Alive. Last summer, the 77-year-old announced that he would retire from the popular game show after 41 seasons. Can you believe that? You remember the first episode, Chelsea, right? Dunwoody's own Ryan Seacrest is set to take over as host of Wheel of Fortune come September. He will be working alongside Vanna White, and you can watch Sajak spin the wheel for the final time tonight at 7 right here on 11Alive. I'm kind of sad about this.
Really?
I used to watch Wheel of Fortune with my grandma, and I still watch it till this day. I watched it yesterday, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They'll have another host. The show will go on. Vanna will still be there.
I know, but it's not the same.
Yeah. You know, I'd take it over if I could.
I could see you doing it. I could.
I bet you could.
Can you spin the wheel?
Well, Pat doesn't do that. Well, I guess he does do it for the final spin.
See, you don't watch the show.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for watching. Make sure you tune into that final episode, and be sure to tune in again here for the news at 4. Go out and have a great Friday.
No, I saw the first one, remember?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I forgot.